forget.
It happened with one of Steve's coworkers. Get a tissue.
We're on.
Okay,
We're on. It's fine. We're just waiting. It's not 1 o'clock now, but we are here waiting for the 1 o'clock. We're letting it warm up and letting people come in.
I guess I'll do this off the camera, huh?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I wonder what would happen if I pushed invite friends. I don't want to see.
You don't know what's going to happen.
I don't want to do it because it could be something very bad.
You don't know who's out there that might consider us friends that we don't consider friends.
It could be some people I'd rather not know what I'm doing too. Is anybody out there?
We've got 8 people already.
Well, let me know you're here, and because as you know, we often have trouble with comments.
Okay, we should, while we're getting people in here, talk about our plans for next week.
Yeah.
Now, we had talked about doing like a ghost tour. And as we've talked over the last couple of weeks, we've been scaling our plans back because we've realized all the things that can make that very difficult. Matter of fact, because we don't have a camera crew or anything like that. So we probably, at this point, we are going to be on location. We just don't know where that's going to be yet.
Yeah, we're looking for a haunted kind of place to be. And we will talk and tell ghostly stories. And we will freak ourselves out, if not you. But honestly, I mean, I told her we could just go upstairs and do it, but then I don't want to get them stirred up.
Yeah, she said she didn't want to get her spooks all stirred up, and I'm like, well, don't come to my house.
And I'm not going in the basement because I try to keep him, the one that's down there, I try to keep him down there with James, and the one upstairs, I try to keep her upstairs with Dusty, and I try to keep the middle of the house kind of clear, although it's not clear. I mean, it's been, you know, I told you, my friend Tony is over here. I think I told y'all. Where he was at Stanford steps waiting for me to give him something, and I came back and he said something that poked him like 3 times, like trying to make him move.
Mm-hmm.
And people keep telling me they see somebody behind me when I'm sitting in my chair, but nobody gets a bad feeling about it, you know. Well,
I mean, we're talking about not wanting to get your spirits stirred up, and we don't want to get my spirits stirred up. Does everybody's house have spirits?
No, there's some houses that are, I think yes and no. I think they're everywhere. I think it's, like I said, one world overlaying another. So there's probably something going on everywhere, and some portal
especially right now,
everywhere, especially this time of year. And especially I think when emotions are running high as well, but they're not always active. As I had said in a previous episode, some people actually ground things out. And then some people like me and probably you, and especially if we've got something going on, they excite things. And I'm actually starting to worry a little bit about, you know, sometimes spirits that are naughty. And by the way, if anybody is commenting, good luck, because we're not seeing anything, and I'm doing all the things a person does.
Not yet.
We saw a bunch of things. So there's people that are there. They're hitting their little buttons and whatnot, but their comments, not yet. It makes me so.
They'll show up in a minute.
Yeah, when we're done.
We got 27 folks with us, so let's go ahead and get into the meat of this thing, shall we?
Yeah, I guess so. But please don't give up on the comments. And I'm going to write a comment. Hold on. Well, it won't write for here. It's not going to show. See,
can you do one on your phone?
No, I'll do it right here.
Okay.
I got it. Never mind.
Glad you.
I can't. It won't go.
Okay.
So I don't know what's going on. I may make a comment on my phone. Yeah.
Yeah. Do your phone. While I get started by saying this is Metaphysical Matters with Angela Moore. I'm Kim Clark, and
18 comments, Kim. Look at that.
Okay. Well, we can monitor on your phone then if they don't show up on the screen.
If it's going to be feedback on there,
can you?
I mean, I can turn the sound off.
Yeah, just mute it.
Okay.
We have a plan.
Okay, I'm listening. I'm commenting on here.
Okay. Last week, we kind of put our heads together, and you asked the aliens to show themselves.
And they did, and I'm deeply disappointed.
Well, now I was going to say, I don't know if you got my text.
I did not.
But I don't know if anybody else had this experience, but I dreamed that there was a whole fleet of aliens that showed up in the sky right outside my front door.
Wait a minute. You did text me that. Why did that not get me excited?
I don't know. You didn't answer, and I thought, well, that went over like a lead balloon, like a lead UFO.
Why did somebody make us? Oh, because there's not going to be a ghost tour. We're still going to do something ghostly, though. Don't remember, still doing something ghostly.
Oh, that's good. We can just.
Okay. Well, this is just annoying. Now, you know, what's the point? Why? Wait, look, let me see. Hold on. Hold on. I got it. I got it. It's loading the comments, people. There we have it. There we have. Yay! We've got you. Thank you. I am so glad because that is so freaking annoying. You want to, if you're going to do a thing, you want it to at least have know what people are saying.
Okay.
Okay.
So
I feel so much better now. That was annoying me.
So, are we still holding out for the aliens?
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about it. I forgot, and to me, that is freakingly bizarre that you sent me something like, I just saw a fleet of UFOs, and I think, oh well, whatever. That's not going to happen. So that's actually shocking me that I didn't reply.
Well, it was in a dream, but
oh, it was in a dream. Oh yeah, well, I guess.
I mean, if I'd actually seen a fleet of UFOs outside my front door, I'd be more excited in the telling.
I was actually concerned why I wasn't excited to know that. That kind of freaked me out.
Okay, well, anyway, so the only thing we got out of that was I dreamed something. So,
well, I think that you might have been downloaded, and I think that I have had similar, not a dream and not a vision or anything else, just a feeling that they're there, and if I look, I will see them, and I look and I don't. But it's like I just feel that they're there, and I feel like they are accumulating. This just in, I feel like they're accumulating. Gathering momentum, and I felt that earlier this week, and I did. So anyway, I'm going to say, because I'm kind of in the zone today anyway, that if any otherworldly benign beings would like to show themselves in some way that would get attention and let us know they're there, we'd be interested in having it happen. Okay.
So anybody who missed the very beginning, we are going to be on location next week for Halloween, but we don't know exactly where that location is going to be.
No, we're trying to find a place that would be sufficiently spooky without sound good with this in the daytime, but I lose sleep at night. I'm thinking, what are we going to do when we're at this? Even though everything in my world is like, I live in the land of paranormal, and yet for some reason it scares me anymore. I think it's because, and that's what I was getting ready to say, I think that sometimes these spirits attach to people, Kim, and when it happens, you don't think, oh, there's a spirit attached to me. What you might feel is very angry or very depressed. And James is a vulnerable person. That's my husband, for you to all know that, because, you know, he has some health issues, and sometimes he's got a lot of energy and sometimes he don't. And I think when he doesn't have a lot of energy, he is vulnerable to psychic attack. And even if it's an unintentional attack, even if it's just a spirit that is wanting to attach because it's like, oh, there's a body, I should get in there. You know, I think that it can make a person go into the depths of despair. And I actually had that happen to me a couple of times, not in a recent as well. And I'm thing is, when you're feeling that depression, you don't think, oh, there's a spirit attached to me. Or even if you do, it's usually, with me, it's usually like, that's just bull crap, you know, I'm just having a miserable time or whatever. Then in hindsight, I think that
psychic ever.
Well, there's something wrong with me, I guess, because I don't believe in anything until it happens and slaps me in the face, and then I look back, and I did levitate.
You did.
I did.
Let's don't go there yet. We've talked about that before.
I want to levitate right now. Watch this.
But you were talking about people getting not possessed, but under the influence of a spirit. How can you tell the difference? Like, if you're feeling depressed, how can you tell if it's your stuff or a spirit stuff?
I think that it has to. Let me try again. I think that it has to have a sudden onset, maybe, and also maybe doesn't make any logical sense, because it does have that kind of thing. And maybe here's what is for me, I believe, that it suddenly leaves the way it does. You know, I know one time he had a spirit attachment. It's been a few years ago, and it was before he was being properly medicated for some of his ailments. And so I think he was very vulnerable. He's going to kill me for talking about him. But anyway, he won't know. So anyway, he was coming around the side of the house there, and I was outside with the child, and I saw him coming, and it was like, what the heck? I did not recognize him. His face was different. It did not look like him. It scared me, and he was mean. And you know, he is like the sweetest person ever. But unless he's sick, and then he's kind of, you know, just go to your room and don't bother me. But he, it was It was not him. I'm telling you, it wasn't him. And he says the same thing. He says the same thing. So I'm not telling something. It's not a secret, by the way, people. So I think that happened, and I think it's happening randomly now. Anyway.
Well, you know, we started out talking about aliens as usual, and I didn't want us to get too far away from that before I called attention to what John just wrote. That he feels that the ET presence when he sees the images of the pyramids,
Yeah,
those kind of things, like the
a lot of people do.
I do too. And now when I look at them, I think, why didn't I ever see them that way? For what I now judge that they are, I thought, why didn't I see that before? But I didn't.
You weren't supposed to, and why would you, really? Why would you? You know, most people don't go around thinking about stuff like that. I think you have to have part of your mind open and expanded and ready. And while I'm thinking about it, speaking of this ghost attachment thing, somebody had messaged me and asked me, had I ever helped a spirit go to the light? And
I had that down.
Oh, okay, well, never mind.
No, let's go straight there.
Well, okay.
It was a question, and let's see, I got the whole thing here. She wanted to know, how do spirits communicate with you, and have you ever helped any of them cross over?
Yeah, on occasion they do, and basically you need just to tell them, you know, you need to turn around and find the light, that maybe you don't realize that, you know, your time is ended here.
Just like the Ghost Whisperer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've said before, I think that show is to educate people about such things in a fictional form. But basically, you know, I've told them that before, and you can usually feel it if they're that kind of spirit. But you got to understand that not all spirits are lost, and not all of them are ready to go. But, you know, sometimes, yeah, of course you can tell them that, and you can. And so it's different ways. I think a lot of it depends on how I see them, feel them. It depends on maybe where they are right now. Maybe they are not even aware of me, or maybe they are. You know, the first one I saw, Kim, one of the first ones, if not the first one, was I was walking many years ago with my little girl. She's not a little girl now. She's a grown-up girl now, but she was just a baby then. And we were walking over there on Alabama Avenue, and Tony, her daddy, my husband at the time, he had walked on ahead to get the car because we'd been on a pretty good walk, and the baby was tired, and I was getting tired. It was a little bit of lightning in there, the heat lightning, and it was like a dark and stormy night, right around midnight probably. And where all my stories actually seem to carry a little weight there. But anyway, we were coming around up towards Alabama Avenue where we lived, as I said. And I was wearing, and this is kind of the state of mind I was wearing, and I was thin, young, and good looking. And I was
That's very important to this story.
It is, because I was wearing really short shorts. Okay. And I wouldn't actually wear them really out in the daytime or nothing, you know, because I'm just not that kind of person, even though I wore them well. But anyway, I was wearing them, and wasn't the kind of shorts I'd wear in front of my papa that raised me, okay? So anyway, I was coming around the corner, and he'd went up ahead to get the car, like I said, and there's this little old lady sitting at this little cement outdoor table, and she had white hair, and she had them kind of glasses like the Far Side lady wears, you know? Mm-hmm. And I saw her, and she looked at me like this, like, you know, because it's all about me, you know, I'm thinking, she thinks I look awful in these shorts. That's the first thing I had, because I'm thinking, you know, she's an older lady, and they weren't obscene. I'm just that way. But anyway, I was embarrassed. And so I said, and it shocked me because I wasn't expecting to see somebody, right? So I said, oh my word, I wasn't. And that's about as far as I got, because, honey, she faded away. She was gone, disappeared. And I saw her like I'm looking at you right now. It wasn't like, you know, this flimsy thing, but she faded, and it freaked me out. I was so glad I was holding on to Jamie, because if she'd went running over there to that yard, she just had to go, because I was not prepared to rescue her at that time. But anyway, that happened, and I feel to finish the next day. Neighbors always had the house where all the people hang out in the neighborhood, you know. So these kids were over to the house, and I said, he says, somebody died over here lately. He said, yes, my aunt died 2 days ago. And I said, where'd she live? Right down there at that place, that little yard thing. And I said, she worked like, he says, yeah, she had white hair, and she had kind of funny glasses. I had no idea that anybody had died down there. She had died the day before I had seen her, or the day of. You have to forgive me now, because it's been a while. But I had no idea about that. And it was exactly the place and description of that lady. And I think she had come back that night to visit her little yard. I feel like she was just there, and I disturbed her peace. And maybe she didn't think she was supposed to be there, and I wasn't supposed to see her, and that happened.
That's interesting. Have you seen any themes for this week with your clients?
Pisces. Okay, I was just looking back at some of the things. Pisces. I have had some born, oddly enough, had the same birthday, like for Pisces, 3 in a row. And then I had some others that were like, earlier and later, whatnot. But everybody's been a Pisces this week. So if you are a Pisces person, you might want to kind of do a gut check and see if you're where you need to be, and see if this is, if you're in balance for Pisces too, or for everybody. And also, this is going to be a time of transformation for the next 3 or 4 weeks of an inner kind, of a spiritual kind, the kind of transformation that takes place in the back of your mind, but also the kind of transformation that could be profound. So if you are trying to make changes in your life, if you're not able to make them now, you want to maybe make a list of what you'd like to see happen, or daydream what you'd like to see happen, or just maybe start talking about what you'd like to see happen, because this is the kind of energy that can take those wishes, desires, needs, whatever, and start that ball rolling. Okay, this is the time. Now, if you want to do something in a paranormal vein, this is the time again for that too. And I tell you, I mean, stuff is active right now. Stuff is active for people that are interested in that. For people that are grounded, or we shouldn't be watching this anyway. So you people that are watching, it's probably going to be lively if you're alert and aware of such things.
I'll tell you something I've noticed for the last week, or maybe several weeks. I don't know if you guys have too, but there seems to be a lot of people passing away. A lot.
Yeah, yeah, they do this time of year. I think. Well, probably all the time. Really, statistically,
I don't know. It seems really concentrated right now,
and sudden, and a lot of people that are not unexpected, and it's also people who are not so old.
Yeah,
you expect somebody 100 years old, but people that you went to school with, and we're not that old yet. For all you young people that might think, well, she's all what's she talking about. No, I'm not that old. I'm not old enough to retire yet. So yeah, I have. It's like I'm noticing it a lot of young people. It's kind of disturbing, but it's the season for it. It's the season, and season to be born too. So
Well, I wanted to float this out here too before we get into some of the text that you sent me this week. I read an article this week about Pluto being in Capricorn. It started in 2008, and it will transition out of Capricorn in 2023. And when Pluto went into Capricorn in 2008, that's when we had the financial crisis and all that kind of stuff. The last time that Pluto was in Capricorn was in the 1700s, the late 1700s, when the French and American revolutions took place.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. And it, like I said, we've got about another 2.5 years before we transition out of this.
Well, I don't know. That's just crazy. I hope it's a peaceful one. It's not. I don't know. It kind of goes with the way I feel, and I do feel like now, late November, it would not surprise me to see world events take a more. I hope this don't happen, but it wouldn't surprise me to see them take a more violent turn. So have that. Don't worry about it though.
See, Shauna had a close death.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah. You guys might remember a few weeks ago, I was talking about what a wonderful dentist I had. Well, he passed away. He was only 62. My next door neighbor, it just seems to keep going. It's like this rolling thing. My cousin about a month ago, just rolling.
It's like a season for it.
Yeah. Well, I also wanted to toss out what I just saw that PJ posted. There's a technology. I don't know exactly how this works, but I read about this too, where they can, they're saying now that they can induce lucid dreaming, help you to control your dreams, and then bring those dreams into consciousness. Do you have any thoughts about whether that might be a good idea?
I think that could be helpful to people who've had trauma, to be honest. But also, if you maybe would like to make changes in your life, I think it's a really good place to go to maybe envision and help manifest that. But also a place too where you could even see yourself going into another realm, maybe to meet your spirit guides, or to just see if the universe is talking to you in a new way. So I think that is a thing that, like a guided meditation kind of thing, a step up from that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's very interesting as long as you are very comfortable with it and know what you're doing and you don't, trigger some trauma.
Yeah. I guess in the case of that, it's like people who do shamanic type of journeying, you got to have somebody with you who's supporting you.
It's best to, but sometimes for that, I would say for sure. But, some people, I think, you have to kind of know the kind of person you are and know what your capabilities are, because a lot of people that are very spiritually oriented are not very comfortable with other people accompanying them. So anyway, I have to say, you have to see what kind of person you are and how you feel about things. Trust your own judgment and don't do not high dive into anything, until you have waded in and make sure this is a place you're safe to swim first.
Okay, that's good advice anytime. I just want to share what Karen has posted here. Saturn and Pluto will be within orb of each other from January 15th, 2023. Mars will join them early in the year too, so looks for things to change early next year.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's play a round of mysterious texts, shall we?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Writing on back of bathroom mirror. Oh, by the way, if you guys haven't watched this before, Angela sends me mysterious texts all week that are little reminders of things she wants to talk about when we get together. And I just record them and then I come in and toss them back out. So there we go. Writing on the back of the bathroom mirror.
This was just, I actually do remember that. I'm trying to think what was my train of thought, though, that went with it. James wrote when he was painting in there on the back of the bathroom mirror. It's just a piece of cardboard or something that's on the back of it. And he'd taken paint and he'd put something like, I love Lee, or he'd put something similar to that on there. And I loved it. And I meant to tell him, I love what you did. It makes me happy every time I open that. But I forgot. And then he ended up taking it off. And so I went in there and it was no longer there. And then I actually did remember to fuss about that. Why did you take it off? It made me happy. And he ended up going and putting it back on. And so the thing I think it was triggering is people, do things for you. They tell you they love you or something. You got to make sure that you say something about it, do something about it. Don't wait till it's gone, or don't wait till they feel so forgotten that, it's just something dies. Make sure, when the negative thing happened, it's gone. I was all right there to say something, And I think that's just what I was wanting. It reminded me to show appreciation for the things that people do for us that are loving in nature. It's just a little that. I just wanted to do a little reminder. Okay.
Terry, I hear you. Terry says, I feel like life is just so hard on a lot of people this year. Hoping next year will calm down a bit, or a lot. Wow, can't handle much more. I was
thinking that too. This has been a difficult year. It's been a lot of loss for a lot of people. And of course, you got to look at the positive. I'm sure there's been a lot of good things too. But to me, it does feel like, from, my people that I see and whatnot, it's been even for the people it's been good, it's still been challenging, it seems.
Yes, very much so. Okay, another thing that you texted me was, and I think we could save this for next week, but I think we'll go ahead and do it. The haunted purse from the thrift store.
Oh, yeah, no, I want to talk about that now because I already texted that on here and people have seen it. This has happened to me a few times in the past, and I don't have it now, but it don't matter. I got a video on here. You probably already seen it anyway, people. But for the people on my website and whatnot,
I haven't seen it.
Well, there's nothing to show. I'm just showing, here's my purse. Look at it. It's a clutch purse. It is a clutch. There is no room for nothing in there except my credit cards, which are in little pockets, my phone, and my keys. But I have to jiggle my keys around to get them to even fit, And James come blowing in there in the morning. He was going to go somewhere, and like he does, wanting to know, where's my keys? I knew those in my pocketbook. Well, he doesn't look, or I caught my pocketbook. It's a little clutch purse, okay? I knew they's in there. And he said, no, they're not. So I go in there and I look, and there's two zippers. I look on, look through it. He had already gone through it. And when I say gone through it, there's nothing in it. It's a black pocket and a black pocket with credit cards stuck on the sides, okay? Or whatever cards, you got. That's it. There's nothing in it. So I'm in a panic because, I'm looking around. I know they're in there. And the first thing I thought was somebody stole it. And then I thought, okay, I'm sure somebody broke into my house and went into my purse and only took my key, but that does not make sense.
And then left without your car.
Yeah, and then I thought it's supernatural. And I thought, it ain't freaking supernatural. Somebody been messing with my daggum purse, and it's just around here somewhere. And I was aggravated because I take things, I lose things on a regular basis. So, I'm looking, we look everywhere. There was no place for it to be. So I'm thinking I left it, and I didn't go nowhere but one place with Tony. Went out there to get some lunch. Called him, wasn't in his car, and had to suffer to wait till 11 o'clock to find out if they was out there to the open. Nope, nobody found them. I didn't believe them. I went in my kid's car and went out there. No, they wasn't there. Okay, come home again. I just out of habit, you just keep looking. You keep looking. It's like it's not there. We both look. I've already called the locksmith because it's a computer key, see, and it's the only key I got. So anyway, we come home, had thrown my pocketbook. It had actually come unzipped somehow, and I thought maybe it's come unzipped, and it fell. I thought there ain't no way because it's so floppy and off balance if it comes unzipped. Which I'm thinking, how did it even come unzipped anyway? That was weird because it's heavy. It didn't make sense. It just puts it off balance. And I'm thinking, okay, that's it. It's just that. So anyway, I don't even know how it come unzipped in. So I zipped it back up and put it in the recliner. I sat there, thought about how I'm going to get at the money. How in the heck am I going to get the money? Get a key. How am I going to do this? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Anyway, I get up. I go over there, I pick up my purse, and somehow it was unzipped again because I was going to hang it on the coat rack. And it's not a little zipper. It's a freaking big old zipper all the way around it. Anyway, I pick it up. It flopped again, and I feel it flop. And I glanced down, and the key fell out onto my hand. It fell out onto my hand. And I have what you do? It's like you'd have these things, and you automatic. I screamed, James. I couldn't move because it was so shocking to me. I want him to come up there and see before I move my hand. This is when I found out that I can have a heart attack or something laid on that floor dying. Nobody is going to hear me because I'm screaming top of my lungs, and he didn't hear. My kid was upstairs. He didn't hear. I couldn't even move. I was paralyzed. No, this happened before. We've had my key go missing, and we had cleared up my big old pocketbook. I went through it. James went through it. My niece Lisa went through it. We all went through it. It was not in there, and it mysteriously reappeared in my pocketbook. So this has happened. But what just really got me about this one is the way it fell. And I swear it's almost like in my mind's eye, I want to say it fell out of my pocket, but not really. Like it more like fell out of thin air in front of it. And, I'm thinking if it's supernatural earlier, it'll show right back up where it was. And then I thought, it ain't no damn supernatural. It's just somewhere laying. I cuss. I'm sorry. I would have to give a quarter to the ghost jar. But anyway, I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to say that bad word. But anyway,
we forgive you.
I can't get, I saw it out of thin air. I think I dropped something one time, an earring and a thing, and it went to thin air.
You told us about that.
I did. I swear.
So was the pocketbook an accessory? To this crime?
I don't know. I meant to sage the purse because, yes, this is the point of this story. And I'm sorry, I'm so freaking long-winded. But, yes, I think that you can buy things from thrift stores that can have attachments to those things. And I feel like this was a young lady's purse, but it could be a young lady that passed over too. But it could also be a random spirit. It could be a negative. She could be alive and well, but maybe she had some energy that attached to it. Okay. It could also be, a lot of things you can bring home from thrift stores. They do need to be saged or salted or whatever it is, cleansed in whatever way that makes sense to you because they can have attachments to them. And then it could be somebody playing a trick on me. And this is more or less what it felt like. And then I think the house, I apologize to the house for looking at pictures of other houses, which I was doing. I did. And it was right after that because I thought the house was mad at me. And I apologize. And I meant my apology house that I'm in right now. I meant it. And then I thought the lady from upstairs, she might have returned it to me. I do. I think there was more to it than just some random. I don't know. There, have that for today's story.
That's pretty wild. I was just
welcome to my world.
Sky's on fire today. I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but she was giving you a hard time about your little curse word. X-rated live broadcasting now. Get your tickets.
I'm sorry. I didn't say that, but whatever.
No,
okay,
we're giving you a hard time. Okay, next in the mysterious text from Angela. Little things can do a great deal. Do Doomsday plane?
This Doomsday plane costs millions of dollars. It is able to withstand a nuclear explosion. A bird went into it and cost $2 million worth of damage. So I'm thinking, what? So I'm thinking sometimes I think we don't realize.
That's funny.
We think that we are small, but sometimes I think with just a word here or word there, you can do a whole lot of damage to a person. You can do a whole lot of healing to a person. And when I saw that, I was just thinking, this is something to remind us that, what we think is really great, huge, or whatever, could be very easily disturbed or brought down or destroyed by small actions, whether you need to bring something down, whether you don't want to do that. I think we need to be aware that sometimes size don't matter and really don't, or doesn't. So you have to take care. And like, even if you're trying to manifest something, if you're trying to energetically do, I have said this before, try to put out what you're hoping for like this, because sometimes people will try to put something out and they're doing like this so hard, nothing happens. It actually backfires them. It's like you can't put out the energy that you need for that job interview, for that new love, for that new home, or whatever it is you're trying to do, because you're putting so much out there. You're actually clogging the pipes, is what I say. Mm-hmm. So you got to remember, sometimes the bigger what you want, you might think the harder you have to fight. But that reminded me, sometimes you don't have to try that hard at all. You just need to put it out there like this and let it do what it does.
I've noticed that in just little things. Like, I'll have just a random thought about, it'd be nice if blah, 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 fill in the blank. And that will come to pass. But
every time I've had that happen, yeah.
But when I've really got the big thing that I want, and I'm thinking and I'm visualizing all this stuff, nada. But that little tiny thing that I just kind of tossed out there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's more power in this than in this. This, okay? This, not this.
Well, to bounce back a little bit about your conversation just a few minutes ago about the keys and the house being in the spirits of the house being involved, Susan wrote that she believed that your house can be mad at you. And we've been talking about that a lot, because I think my house is doing weird stuff to me.
Yeah, you're trying to divorce your house.
Yeah, because
not having it.
Yeah, I was telling y'all a few weeks ago, we were doing all this real estate stuff, and it blew up, and it fell apart. I'm glad, I'm relieved, but that house that we're in right now does not want me to go. Mm-hmm. And it's, anyway, I'm starting to feel like it's sucking my chi. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I have felt that for a while, and I think it was the perfect house for you for a time, but now that time has ended, and I do think
it doesn't want to let go.
No, it don't. Why would it? It's probably going to get some renter in there that's going to tear it all to pieces. But I'm just awful, but I don't care.
Have you been talking to my house?
Yes. No, I do think, maybe. I think I'm right. I think it's got somebody that's really, really careful. And I think that it likes having somebody that's really, really careful. And I keep feeling that little old lady in the house where you live. I believe she's still there. And I don't think, and it's not just her though. I feel like there's nature spirits out there that you care for. You got all them turkeys and bears and deer and everything. And I think these things that are out there, you fit very well. And now you're unplugging your energy, and it's throwing the whole thing out of balance. And I think that.
See what Sky's asking?
If you're a bad person, you're going to bring in bad spirits. And if you're also doing naughty things that you shouldn't do, you're going to bring in bad spirits. Sky, who was asking, can we bring bad spirits into a good house? But you could also bring good and light into a bad house. Although, I would just rather not, because, I think those kind of houses need people who are just very grounded and not really aware of anything, because they can ground it out.
Okay, next. And this is actually carried over from last week, but then you reminded me of this again, so it must be important. Oils lose scent.
Mm-hmm. Well, I texted that when I was looking at my little Egyptian oils that I got at a yard sale, and I love them. And I got to get an atomizer, and I keep telling everybody, give me one for Christmas. Nobody ever does. I guess I could actually get one for myself so I could actually use them, because I want to spray them. I don't want to do this, but it don't matter, because they're probably no good now anyway, because one of them I know is no good now. And you know why? Because I like having them. It's like I want to keep them, I want to have them, I want to look at them. And I love them, but you know what? One of them's already lost its scent, and the other ones may have. I need to find out. because these things are meant to be used. They're meant to be, enjoyed. And I think that's something really hard sometimes. Sometimes we have gifts that we might have and we don't want to really use them. We feel weird about it or whatever. And I think if you don't pay attention to these things, these gifts that we have, like your own psychic ability, for example, it may not go away, but it may go to sleep, to the point that, what's the point? Sometimes people want those things to go away too, because they don't like experiencing that. They want to have a more just regular human being experience. But even though I think that is part of a regular human being experience, some people, they just prefer not to. Then some people do and whatnot. But I feel like if you have a gift of healing, of being a friend to somebody, of, I don't know what your gift is, because everybody's different. And again, going back to a previous thing we just said, you may think, well, this gift is only like a little mite. It's nothing. That little mite could be a great big old thing if it's put in the right place at the right time in the right way to go along with that. So I think, what they say, use it or lose it. And, I hate to see you lose something that might amount to something just because you didn't think it was worthy enough of paying attention to.
That's very, very, that's good to remember.
Okay.
I apologize for us bouncing around, but I like to respond to what people are posting too. And just to kind of go back again to talk about spirits maybe being around you in your house or wherever. Calissa asked, how do you deal with your energy being drained by spirits that are around you? How do you deal with that?
Well, in that case, that's when you need to maybe burn some sage in your house. You need to put some salt around. You need to say a prayer and ask your angels to be in because we all have them, to be in every corner of every room. And sometimes you have to just tell them directly to back off. I had to do that. And I don't want to get them fired up in here, but there's in my kids' room, there's a definite presence in there of a man. I think he passed away in that room, and maybe he opened a portal. I don't know that old man is still in there, but I could feel it. We all could feel it, and it's not really troublesome or anything. But I felt it one night really strong, and I just said, no, you cannot be in here bothering him or me. I've had it, and it was hard because when I get too close, your body will panic. Even if it don't mean harm, your body is not designed to house more than one spirit. So you could panic, or like I said, great depression, or great anger, whatever. And it's just, no. And you know what? It left. And sometimes you just have to ask them to back off. You're too close. Sometimes they don't know that they're too close. They're just hanging around or whatever. So, but you could, number one is just simply ask, please back off. You're too close. And then maybe just part of your regular house cleaning, something I have done in the past, but maybe I've noticed spiders have taken over people. They have taken over. But anyway, next.
Okay, this kind of ties into that too. This was just a text that you had sent. Intelligent spirit versus a ghost.
Did I send it?
Yep.
Okay, I think I was talking about, the levels, and there are some spirits, and we've already touched on this, I guess, really already, that are basically in their own world, as if maybe to them everything makes sense, as like it does when you're in a weird dream. It makes sense while you're in it. I think to them, they're in and out of time. And I already told you in the past about, I think one showed me how it was. And then you've got some that are interactive. They're here for higher purpose, or maybe not so higher purpose, but they are interactive, for lack of a better term, because they are aware of who, what, when, where. And that could be human spirits that passed over, or gods maybe, but it could also be otherworldly beings as well, and even mischievous spirits that could take a person's keys and hide them because they think it's a funny thing to do.
Well, you have to admit they probably had quite a bit of entertainment there for a while. Just see what Sandra, she said that she's got the solution. You're going to sell your house to me and get a different one. I don't want her unloading all this baggage here on me.
She won't live in town. We actually think we might end up on similar property. I'm actually thinking that maybe I could go out a little. She could come in a lot, so she can have her house, I can have mine, maybe adjoining properties. But she's a country mouse and I'm a city gal. And when I say city gal, let me change that. Small town gal, but still I like to live close to things.
She considers like driving 5 minutes to something as to be a terrible burden.
I have to pack a suitcase.
She won't come out to my house. Literally, you can be to my house in 20 minutes and she will not come. It's too far.
It's freaking 20 minutes. That's 40 minutes, and not count the visiting time. And I feel
well,
like
if you just turn around the driveway, you won't have to do that.
so it's like here I'm in town, so she's got to go to town. You got to go to the bank. You got to go get groceries. So you're going to have to go to wherever you're going. You're going to come right by here anyway. So come see me, and I will make an effort on occasion.
Okay, this is something we have not talked about before, and I'm surprised. I don't think we have. But you sent this as a subject to me. Voodoo dolls. What did you want to say about them?
Oh,
how do they work?
And hey, people that are saying hey to us too, thank you. I will tell you, one time my kid had Jamie had a voodoo doll, and of course she's going to use it to hex. She's a kid, okay, and you know how that was like being kind of a bully to her, I think. And so she poked it, and she named it this person. She poked it. Next day in the belly. Next day that girl had to go home because she had sudden belly pain. Scared her, Jamie, and she never did nothing like that again, which is good because some people might have actually decided, oh, I have power, I will kill them all. But she actually got scared about it. But the voodoo doll was actually used for healing, and the needle that's in it, the pin, is actually where you want to pinpoint the healing. And I just think that's interesting how something that started out kind of as a neato thing got turned into a meano thing. But also, you know, maybe there are people that like somebody is like trying to hurt them. They might want to make an effigy of that person. I'm not saying do this. I'm saying some people have done this. And they bind it up and maybe put it in a freezer because it's a way to bind somebody's energy that might be, you know, trying to hurt you in some way. But yeah, I think that you have to be careful with stuff like that because you are not allowed to have authority over another person's spirit. But at the same time, I just thought it was interesting how maybe we can make, you know, I've told people before, if you're trying to manifest, get you some Barbie dolls and name it you, and maybe have do a little play acting, you know, like here is Angela going into her new property, for example, maybe. So I think that there's things that you can do like that to help you. If you ever see a little kid playing and they really get into it, they're really into that zone, and your old cars it's real. That's the frame that you want to be in, by the way, if you ever are trying to get into a place where you're trying to manifest something you need in your life. Again, kind of detach from yourself, and one way to do it is through play, but do not be trying to control another person. It will not work for you.
Can you, if you don't have any Barbie dolls, like I don't think I have mine anymore.
You can see them at thrift stores for $0.25.
Could you draw yourself doing stuff?
Yeah, you can draw it. You can just lay down and think about it. You don't have to do anything. But I have read somewhere that is a really good way to kind of interact with your own self, is to do it in a play way. And I have actually seen these little dolls, you know, like I said, quartered at a yard sale and started to do that. But in fact, I actually do just draw on I got an Etch-a-Sketch, not an Etch-a-Sketch, but one of those papers, you know, that you draw on and you pick it up and erase it.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about those. I used to get one of those.
Yeah, everybody did them. It's little, and you can still get them. And I got one of those, and I will draw something on there that I'm needing maybe, and, you know, a little stick figure of me. A little stick figure has turned into a little balloon figure over the years. Anyway, I will take that, and when I erase it, it's like I'm sending this out to the universe. Also, always pray
to tell. That's really cool.
That's what I do. Also, always pray. This is important, I think. To God. You pray to your whatever you do, or if you want to do that at all. But to put out this energy to your higher power that says, "Show me what to ask for." Put the desire in my heart to ask for the thing that I need that is wise. You might be wanting to ask for a certain man or woman that you want to love, right? For example, and that might be the worst person in the world for you, but you're too blind to it right now. You want to ask for your best love, maybe, or for your best job, or for your best whatever, and then let that higher power come into your heart and tell you what you want to ask for, and you pretty much going to get it, I think, in that case. But so many times I think we just go with our anxiety. We go with our anxiety more than our higher self, because we can't imagine that our higher power would know what is best for us. We know what we want. We don't trust that there might be something bigger, better, more knowing. And so we can't trust that the universe is going to give us a better love when we got to have that guy or that gal, and somebody's just going to end up breaking your heart, whatever. Anyway, it's hard when you're caught in the throes of something to really listen to what you need to listen to. But that's the way I'm looking at it. Ask to be shown what to ask for,
That's very interesting.
or not do what you want.
Um,
I'm only here to
from the practical end of things. I'm really fascinated now with using one of those kids' little drawing things. Where do you get those now?
Dollar store.
I'm on the hunt. I used to love to play with those, and
They are fun.
I love the idea of drawing, depicting whatever it is that you want, and then sending it off to the universe as you erase it.
Yep, there you go.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. This is kind of within the realm of, I don't know if you want to keep this for next week when we're telling ghost stories.
More
ghost stories.
No, I'll go ahead and tell that one now since it was going along with something we were saying earlier.
Okay. Here's what she texted. Child spirit in trailer and man spirit outside, chicken noise.
Did we not talk about that already? I thought we already did.
I don't remember the chicken noise.
Well,
maybe
I think it's because we were talking maybe before. We're frozen on. Okay, there we go. We had talked about, can a new place be haunted? And I was telling you, I think that these things can go anywhere and everywhere depending on maybe what they're seeing from their side, and maybe it's got to do with the property or just portals that open whatever. And when I had bought, I hate that it seems like we're having a little bit of signal trouble. Please, spirit of the house, don't mess up the computer again. But it seems like I had brought her out to show her this trailer that I had bought that we lived in for several years, and it was had been on foreclosure, and it was still in these people's property. It's new, it's nice. Anyway, we went in there, and I took her down the hall to show her my office is going to be. And we went in there, and there was a kid in the closet, like the door's ajar, and it startled me. It's like, I shouldn't be in here, even though I bought it. It felt like that. And the kid then jerks back in the dark, and I thought, I'm not supposed to be here. But then I'm thinking, wait, no, it's mine. The kid's not supposed to be here. And I also thought drugs. I don't know why, but it was a little kid, like about 9 or 10 years old, kind of reddish hair, freckles. The hand right here, I saw clearly. I mean, it scared me, not because, there's a ghost in the closet, because there's a person in here. And it did scare me, though. And I had to force myself to walk over there, which actually is a clue that I should have paid attention to, the fact that I had to force myself. So anyway, I had to force myself. I went over there and opened the closet, and nobody in there, none, zero. So yeah, that happened. And then after we moved it, and then I did put my little office in there. And I'm sorry we're repeating this story, probably already told you. But anyway, my other Kim wanted to see me, so she came in there, and she was likes to hang out in there, and I didn't like going in there at night by myself. I just didn't. And we were in there, and I was telling her I felt weird. Let's go. And she didn't want to leave, and I felt nervous. I felt kind of scared. And I swear we heard right outside the window what sounded like a man. And I did have a boyfriend who did pass away, who did in fact used to make all these crazy sounds. Actually went on TV doing it. This has been like many years ago. But anyway, we both heard someone outside the window going, bark, bark, bark. And I'll run. And she sat there and giggled about it. And I finally made my way back down the hall.
It's kind of hard to be scared of a ghost that's making chicken
noises.
It was
making fun of me. It was freaking making fun of me. And I did not appreciate it.
Hey, I was just looking at what Julie's writing there. Her house and land was a brand new build, but was full, or I guess maybe still is, full of Cherokee energy, a portal, and land elementals.
Well, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So I hope you've gotten a handle on that. All right. She knows how I feel about
James was calling me, and I don't want him to call me when I'm on here, so I had to send him a text that said, "Stop calling me."
Okay. So that actually is most of the texts that you had sent me this week, or all of them. But I wanted to just touch real briefly on something you and I talked about before we got started. Have y'all had this happen, especially recently, where somebody that's been in your circle or somebody that you maybe you've even felt close to, suddenly they seem to be very far away? It's like, and you don't even think about them. And if you're going to call them and then you don't, and they don't call you, and you just seem to drift away. And we were talking about how perhaps that has to do right now with all the changing vibrational levels that's happening in the earth, where we're getting all this new energy, And we're responding to that at different speeds and in different ways. And maybe for a while, if you're not on the same level with somebody, and that's not to judge who's the better student or who's the worst one, you just can't connect. So, and you seem to think that that was something that was plausible.
Yeah. I think we attract people who are sometimes going to reflect, or usually they're going to reflect us. And sometimes you can also get people who are not in balance like that. And it's like, I think by having that imbalance, it forces maybe someone to grow with us, or to, if they don't, it's not going to happen. Like you said, that connection is not going to be made, because it just doesn't work. It doesn't connect.
It's funny. Like, I have a friend from high school that I feel like, oh man, I should call her, because we were in very close, connection for a long time, communication, and I just don't do it. And she doesn't call me. It's very strange.
Well, sometimes, it's like that person you were, doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Or she doesn't exist. Sometimes I think it's good to connect, because it helps you see where you've been. You see who you used to be, and you see who you are now. And that happened to me before with a friend. And I thought, oh my God, this person is exactly the same, but I am no way near that same person. And there was that. Then later there was another reconnect, and it does fit. So I think these things can also evolve and change over time. And it was like shocking to me, because I was thinking, what's happened here? Did I regress, and did this person progress? And I have to say, I don't think anything changed, but maybe our needs are different now. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It just suddenly seems to be like, okay, I'm at peace with this friendship. It was weird. So I think that thing is a thing that changes and is multi-level, multi-layered as to what it brings and what it does for us.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're at about 50 minutes, which is where we usually call it a day. But I do want to mention something to y'all, if you're interested, and this kind of feeds into what we're just talking about with the Earth changes, the changes of the energy on the planet. If you're interested, there's a website I've mentioned before called n5d.com. And right now, pretty close to the top of that website is an article called Dolores Cannon on the Event. That's the hypnotherapist from Texas that had all this really interesting material come through her clients when she was doing past life regressions. And actually this information came from their in-between life
That's
times.
interesting.
Yeah, but anyway, she picked up a lot of really cool information on the event that we're all living through right now, the Earth, the way the Earth is changing. So if you're interested, check it out. Yeah, I found it very, very interesting reading.
Yeah.
So with that,
well, I guess that's about it.
And remember, next week we're going to be on location.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't say we weren't going to do something for Halloween. Now I just said we're not going to go on a tour, because it's just we're not equipped.
We decided we needed somebody to run the camera. We needed somebody to drive.
And I don't want to go out after dark. I'll just be flat honest with you. I just don't want to go out after dark. I feel weird about it.
So, Sandra, the site is N5D, N, the word N, and then 5, the number, D.com, N5D.com. Or if you just Google Dolores Cannon on the Event, you'll probably see it pop up.
Well, I think I'm going to have to check into that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, next week, same time, but on location for Halloween.
Lord willing, if the creek don't rise.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see how that goes. But we'll do something spooky and weird. If we've got to do something.
As usual.
It's Halloween.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, folks. And here we go. Let's do our usual, trying to make this thing end and see what happens. And here we go. Maybe.